What's up everyone, how are you all? Today we are back with another blazing Naruto story. What if Orochimaru daughter caught by a certain leaf Jounin on a mission with Naruto? If you enjoy then please like, share and do comments. Orochimaru-sama, said Sanin looked up from the scrolls he was looking at to see his assistant Kabuto, the man Lukadrow. His hair was unkempt, his clothes ruffled and dirtied. Yes Kabuto, did you need something? He asked, not able to hide the smirk as the man shook. He could feel the fear flowing off of him in waves. It was clear that something was terribly wrong and Kabuto feared his reaction. Orochimaru-sama, Rin-chan has. Orochimaru's gaze narrowed at the mention of his daughter. Vanished. Kabuto braced himself for the older man's reaction. He stole a peek to see that his master had ripped the scroll he had been holding. What do you mean vanished, Kabuto? He hissed, glaring down at the man. Didn't I give you the job of watching her? Kabuto adjusted his glasses as he stared at the floor. About that, I had some experiments to take care of. So I left her with Kisame. He broke off as the Sanin rushed past him. Kisame, where is my daughter you bastard? Kabuto winced as he heard the slamming of the door. He didn't know how he was going to make up for this. This was the 7th time Rin had run off. No matter who was babysitting, she somehow always slipped through the Akatsuki members' fingers. Kabuto went to follow the Sanin with a sigh. He'd need help to find the child. The snake was partly choking Kisame in the sitting room. Kisame, where's my daughter? He hissed. The shark man chuckled lightly as he tried to make Orochimaru release his throat. Itachi-san took her out. He smirked at the disgusted look that came to the other man's face. Everyone knew he hated the idea of his daughter hanging out with Itachi more than any of the other members. He even preferred Kakuzu and Hidan to the Uchiha. Where did he take her? He demanded, his grip on the man's throat tightened. Kisame chuckled, just out for some sweets. The snake's eyes grew cold as he released the man, knowing he wouldn't tell him where Itachi had brought her. Itachi, can we do this again? Everyone in the room's heads whipped around to see the child who was causing all the havoc. Clinging onto the Uchiha's arm, she had a sucker in her mouth and a bag hanging from her wrist which seemed to be bulging with more sweets. Of course, Rin-chan. He smiled down at her before turning his gaze to the girl's Oto-san. Itachi, what did I say about Taken? Oto-san. Orochimaru's words were cut short as his daughter hugged him around the middle. Itachi got me sweets. Itachi smirked when he saw the anger drain from Orochimaru's face as he looked down into her golden snake eyes that mirrored his own. Rin dug in her bag and pulled out a sucker. Want one, Oto-san? Orochimaru sighed and ruffled her hair. No thanks, you keep it Rin. She nodded, putting it back in her bag. What the fuck is going on in here? Hidan, watch your mouth. Kabuto snapped. Orochimaru had been a little too slow to cover her ears. Fuck you, Kabuto. Orochimaru's anger quickly returned as he had his hands over his daughter's ears. Hidan, Rin-chan doesn't need to hear such language. Kakuzu growled from behind the Jushinist. He frowned, trying to keep a straight face as her eyes seemed to glow in the light. Hidan-sama. He gritted his teeth and turned away from her gaze. Fuck. He pushed past his partner and left the room. Itachi, can we go play a game? Rin asked, pulling on the Uchiha's sleeve. He glanced down at her, then back at the girl's Oto-san, who seemed ticked off. They all knew he hated that Rin had accepted the Uchiha as a big brother figure. Though she was 3 years older than the boy, she acted like a 10-year-old. Maybe next time, Rin-chan. He smiled, poking her forehead just like he'd done with Sasuke so many times. She gave him a sad look as he left the room. Oi, Rin-chan. Want to go PLA? Absolutely not. Orochimaru cut Kisame off, lifted his daughter up into his arms. She doesn't have time, she needs to practice her jutsus. Oto-san, please? Rin asked, looking into his eyes. Orochimaru's eye twitches as he tried to fight the eyes that made even Hidan melt. How his daughter had gotten such power of them, he'd never know. Rin-chan, you need to train, he muttered. But Oto-san, that's all I do unless Kabuto or Itachi are watching me. She complained, her eyes started to glisten. Orochimaru groaned and his daughter grinned, knowing she'd won. She kissed her Oto-san's cheek. Love you Oto-san. He placed her down and she ran over to Kisame in her kimono that covered her hands and was only just short enough that she didn't trip. It was purple with black butterflies and an obi. Kisame-kun. The blue-skinned man lifted her up into his arms with a smirk. That's showing him who's boss. He chuckled. Orochimaru sent him a glare. So you're the one teaching my baby that type of stuff? He snapped. Orochimaru-sama, let's get back to our work. Kabuto cut in, pulling the Sannin toward the door. He cast one more look at his daughter, before leaving with Kabuto. Now, Rin-chan, what do you say we go prank Hidan? Heesked. Hidan-sama said not to though. She responded. That's exactly why we do it. Kisame smirked as she brightened and nodded. Kisame, you fucking bastard. Rin grinned as Sheen said. Man exchanged a look. They were now in the kitchen where Kisame was getting Rin something to eat. Hidan entered not a moment later, drenched from head to toe, his hair no longer slicked back, his clothes clinging to his frame. Most of the other Akatsuki members that were in the room had trouble containing their laughter. Namely Deidara and Toby. Theothers, Sasori, Konan, Kakuzu, were trying to hide their smirks. Kisame uf, Hidan. Kisame warned, beckoning to Rin. Hidan frowned as he sat next to her. Oi, Rin-chan. What do you say we fucking sacrifice Kisame to Jashin? He asked, leaning in close to her. No, I like Kisame-kun. She replied, looking at the shark as he placed a bowl of rice with a side of shrimp in front of her. Forget that, I fucking love him. She grinned, hugging him. Everyone tensed. If Orochimaru heard her swear, they'd be killed. Rin-chan, don't say that word. Kisame said, chuckling nervously. But I fucking love Kisame-kun. She said innocently. They knew she had no idea what the word meant, but it'd still get them in trouble. Do you fucking love Hidan-sama, too? The silver-haired man asked, pushing his hair back, using her nickname for him. Rin looked at the Jashinist. No. The man had butted the table the moment the word left her pale lips. Why not, damn it? He yelled. Cause you're fucking loud. She replied as she released Kisame, so she could eat. Hidan narrowed his eyes at her. What about fucking Toby and that damn Deidara? She put a finger to her lips and thought. Toby-kun is funny, and Dei-kun lets me blow things up. She replied, going back to eating. The two nins whose names had been spoken grinned. That's 'cause we're awesome. They yelled at Hidan. Hidan sighed, resting his head on the table. Fucking bastards, he muttered. Rin ignored his last comment and finished her food. Thank you, Kisame-kun. She grinned up at him. He ruffled her already unkempt black locks in response, laughing when she tried to fix it. Rin-chan. Hidan groaned as he looked at the devil hidden by the mask, run toward them. Toby-kun. She responded, not as loud but enough to bother the Jashinist. She glomped him. What do you say we go find Itachi-senpai? Rin grinned and used her eyes to find the other Uchiha. Her eyes brightened when she found him. He's in his room. First one there wins. She yelled before she was gone out the door. Toby following right behind her. I swear she starts fucking screaming she's a fucking good girl, I'm gonna fucking kill that boy. Hidan growled. Kisame chuckled. Well, if she starts cursing and talking about Jashin-sama, Orochimaru will kill you. He told him. Hidan smirked. Damn, she'd be a fucking hot Jashinist. Hidan, get that out of your mind. Kakuzu muttered. Ash joined his partner at the table. Hidan frowned. Why? She's already fucking why? The Akatsuki members around him sweat dropped. Hidan, you're not supposed to think of her like that. Konan snapped, slamming her bowl on the table. We are Rin-chan's makeshift family. The Jashinist rose a brow at her. How? The only member she fucking counts as an Oni-san is that fucking Uchiha. Hailed. Why is that anyway, Deidara asked. The question bothered him deeply, since he felt he deserved to be called Deidara-ni. This seemed to catch all the others' attention as well. Perhaps it is the fact that Rin-chan is closer to Itachi than most of us thought? Sasori offered. Close my ass. That fucking Uchiha has her call him the Justo tick off her fucking Oto-san. Hidan snapped. I mean, she's fucking older than him. What other fucking reason is there? Kisame looked at his fellow Akatsuki member. Could be that Itachi's Oni-san habits have come out and he now treats Rin as he once did his own brother. He stated. Most of the members nodded in understanding. Anyone know what the poking the forehead thing is all about? Konan asked, leaning in closer. The men looked at each other, then back at Konan, and shook their heads. Even Kisame didn't have the answer to that. Konan-chan. Konan-chan. The blue-haired woman looked down at the golden-eyed ravenette tugging on the sleeve of her cloak. Orochimaru's daughter really was short. Yes, Rin-chan? She asked. Said girl brightened at the woman's voice. I found Leader Sama, just like you wanted. The older woman blushed slightly and crouched down to her level. Really, where is he? Rin-chan? He's in his office under his desk. She answered excited ly. Rin liked the idea of Conan and Pain together. Conan smiled and patted Rin's head. That's my good girl, she praised before leaving the room. Rin giggled to herself sitting on the carpeted floor in front of the couch in the living room. She was looking at a scroll her Oto-sanha had given her on the history of the Leaf Village. Orochimaru planned to send her there, with a few nin from Otogakure, for the Chunin exams. Though Rin didn't like the idea of being separated from her Oto-san. She knew she'd have to look out for herself, she'd be alone, she didn't want to be alone, she wanted to be able to cuddle next to her Oto-san at night. Rin-chan, what are you doing on the floor? She looked up to see none other than Itachi, the one who constantly took her out for sweets. Even if she was not as fond of them as he, she still enjoyed their time together. Learning about the village you come from, she replied in a quiet voice. Itachi crouched down beside her, looking at the scroll on her lap. There was a small map along with some information about the Hokage and the Anbu. Everyone who had a rank, some with pictures. All listed their weaknesses and blind spots. It looked as though she was researching the village for attack. Why are you looking up Konoha of all villages? Heesked. Oto-san wanted me to learn about them. She said hesitantly. She was sure her Oto-san wouldn't like her telling the Akatsuki of his plan to destroy the leaf. Itachi seemed slightly bothered by what she had told him but said nothing. Itachi-san, what are you doing on the floor? Rin grinned at the frown that formed on the Uchiha's lips as he looked up to see his partner Kisame. I'm talking to Rin about the leaf. Itachi muttered as Kisame joined them on the ground. Really? He looked at the scroll. Planning on going there, Rin-chan? He rose a brow at the girl. She shrugged. Maybe someday, Kisame-kun. The shark and Uchiha exchanged a glance. Both of them were sure her Oto-san was planning something. Itachi hoped it had nothing to do with his brother. It was clear Orochimaru was out to get the Sharingan. It was only a matter of time before he tried. What are you three fucking doing on the floor? Rin and Itachi were the ones to chuckle this time as they looked up to Seihiden. He was dressed in a fishnet shirt and black sweatpants, unlike Itachi and Kisame who were in their normal Akatsuki attire. Rin smiled up at him. Talking, care to join us, Hidan-sama? She asked, giving him a look that the three members could only describe as a puppy dog eyes look, that could make almost anyone melt under the stare. If they didn't know better they would claim she was a child. The Jushinist sighed as he took a seat on her other side, since Itachi was already on her right. Fuck, I swear you're all fucking turning into a bunch of fucking crazies. He muttered, there's a fucking good couch right behind us. Hidan, watch your trap. Rin burst into a fit of giggles as they looked to see Sasori. Sasori-senpai. She patted the spot in front of her. Sure, let's just have a fucking party on the fucking floor, Hidan yelled as the puppet master joined the group. He was also dressed in casual attire similar to Hidan. What are all of you doing on the floor anyway? The redhead asked, making himself comfortable next to Kisame. Rin smiled and leaned on Itachi. They're spending quality time with Rin-chan. Half the group groaned as they looked to see Tobi, who had Deidara standing next to him. They were in their Akatsuki cloaks and looked like they'd been training. Tobi-kun, Dei-senpai. Rin's smile only grew as the two joined everyone on the floor. How is it, when Rin-chan's doing something, almost all of us get pulled into it with her? Kisame asked, leaning closer to Sasori, though most of the members heard anyway and nodded. It's kinda fun sitting on the floor with everyone, Tobi giggled childishly. Shut up, Tobi. Half the group muttered. We should do this more often, I like having everyone so close. Rin said, looking at everyone. Are you fucking crazy? Hidan yelled. It's fucking boring. Everyone sent him a glare, but Rin seemed unbothered by his language as she moved closer to him. But, Hidan-sama, don't you like sitting with Rin-chan? She asked in a sad baby tone. Hidan looked at her face and sweat dropped. Fuck yeah, he muttered. Hidan, you're the one who argued that we needed a couch, why are you sitting on the floor? Kakuzu's voice was heard from across the room. Kakuzu-san. Rin looked at the tall man, whose eyes were the only thing he revealed. Why don't you join us? Sheesked. Only missing Orochimaru, Pain, and Conan, Deidara muttered to Tobi, who laughed in response. Kakuzu frowned, his eyes scanning the room. You do know there is a rat about 3 feet away from your little Searle, right? Screams filled the room as the Akatsuki members jumped to their feet. Rin jumped into Hidan's arms, Deidara in Sasori's, while Itachi, Tobi and Kisame had jumped onto the couch. It would have made a hilarious picture of the criminals all frightened by a mouse. Hidan holding Rin bridal style, while Sasori had Deidara over his shoulder in a way as the blonde had jumped a good 3 feet in the air. Itachi was slightly clenching Kisame's arm as he hid behind the taller man, though they stood on the couch beside Tobi. "Hidan-sama, kill it!" Rin cried as her grip on him tightened. It was a wonder he wasn't suffocating. Hidan couldn't help but chuckle at the girl's clinginess. "A small rat, and you call yourselves criminals?" Kakuzu scoffed as he watched Tobi pull it into another universe. The members that had screamed blushed as they slowly got off the couch, or as Deidara and Rin had to do, climb off the person they jumped on. "Sorry, Hidan-sama." Rin uttered out a small blush on her cheeks. The Jashin chuckled and ruffled her hair. "No problem, Rin-chan." "Kabuto ni?" said Medic looked down to see his master-raven-haired daughter. She looked scared. "Yes, Rin-chan?" She was playing with the obi of her kimono, her eyes on the ground. "Do you think Oto-san would get mad if Nezo ate one of his yukata?" she asked quietly. Kabuto rose a brow at her. "Which one did he eat?" "The blue one with purple lining and such," she said quietly. Kabuto looked past her to see Nezo, the large gray snake wastering to comfort its summoner, its red eyes filled with sympathy. Rin reached back, petting the top of Nezo's head. "I don't think it'll bother him too much. He has more than one." She nodded and turned to Nezo fully with a smile on her lips. "Don't worry, Nezo, Oto-san won't be mad," she soothed, kissing the top of his head. Kabuto looked at her slightly surprised. That was perhaps the most intimate act he had seen any summoner ever have with their summoning. Yes, Rin-sama, even Orochimaru himself, did not tread the snakes so well, though here Rin and Nezo were unaffected as thaw. It was a normal thing. Rin climbed onto the snake's back, her arms wound around it. "To the training area," she declared. The snake did as she asked without question. Kabuto followed her out into the hall just in time to see a few members get caught in the large snake's path. Nezo was maybe 3 feet around, so he still managed to push Hidan and Kakuzu against the wall. "Sorry, Hidan-sama, Kakuzu-san," Rin called over her shoulder, disappearing into the dark halls. "Fuck, Rin-chan, why don't you fucking walk like the rest ofus?" Hidan yelled after her. "Where's the fucking fun in that?" They heard her yell back. Kabuto's eyes went wide. "Hidan," he snapped. The Jashinist looked at him with a nervous smile. "Stop cursing in front of Rin-chan." He chuckled. "Too late, Kabuto. If Orochimaru-sama hears her, you'll be killed." The medic growled, walking up to the two men. "I think Rin-chan knows not to say it in front of him." Kabuto gave him an unconvinced look. "By the way, Kabuto, aren't you supposed to be babysitting her?" Hidan's voice changed to a teasing manner. Kabuto clenched his fist, glaring at the zombie duo. Kakuzu was looking at him with amusement in his pink and green eyes. They always treated him like he was dirt. Hidan smirked. "You better fucking hurry or you'll fucking lose her." Kabuto growled as he stomped past them. It was a wonder how Orochimaru could handle them. When he got to the training area, there was no sign of the raven-haired girl. "Rin-chan," he called out, hoping she might reply. No such luck came to him though. He saw Sasori, but no Snake Sanin's daughter. "Kabuto, where's Rin-chan?" The man nearly jumped 2 feet off the ground. When he looked to see it was only Kisame, he heaved a sigh of relief. He didn't want to deal with Orochimaru at this point. "I don't know. I was just looking for her," Kabuto muttered. Kisame smirked and glanced past his head. "Oi, Rin-chan, wanna go to the market with me?" Kabuto's head whipped around to see said girl still riding Nezo, though Nosh had some scratched and her hair looked windblown. "Okay." She hopped off Nezo and gave him a hug. "I'll summon you later," she told him. "Yes, Rin-sama," he hissed before vanishing in a cloud of smoke. "Am I the only one thinking Rin-chan is too close to Nezo?" Kisame asked. Kabuto smiled. So it wasn't just him who thought so. "No, I'm sure everyone thinks so," he muttered. Rin skipped over to Kisame and took his hand into hers. "I'm ready, Kisame-kun," she grinned. Kisame and Kabuto exchanged a glance before the shark led the girl away. "Rin-chan, see anything you want?" Kisame asked as they entered a weapons shop in a nearby village. Rin looked at the different weapons, her eyes traveled along the different racks. Swords, kunais, shuriken, needles, paper bombs, knives, and scrolls. Rin glanced back up at Kisame, who was eyeing her curiously. No. Oto-san keeps me well supplied, she said quietly. Kisame nodded as they left the store. He looked at some of the other stores they were passing. He looked at the raven beside him. She was looking at the small market around her. Very few people were outside the shops. The shark sighed, gripping her hand a little tighter. If she were someone else's daughter, she'd probably be on some mission for whatever village, or maybe even out with some friends. But instead of normal friends, she had a bunch of S-rank criminals. Only one he could see coming close to a normal friend was Toby, maybe if the kid was on drugs. Kisame sighed. Orochimaru sure wasn't the ideal Oto-san either, always having Rin train or whatever. Yes, he did baby her, a lot, but she needed more than that. She needed a real Okawa-san too, not Conan or even Kabuto. Orochimaru had told them nothing of Rin's birth Okawa-san, besides that she had died. Pain had voiced his suspicions, after finding out about Rinzamine's Eye of the Kagura technique, claiming she had to be somehow related to the Uzumaki clan. Orochimaru neither denied nor approved the accusation. Kisame-kun, are you okay? He was pulled from his thoughts by the Sanin's daughter, leading him to realize he had been standing outside the base for about 10 minutes. He pulled a smile and ruffled her hair. I'm fine, Rin-chan, he replied before opening the cave. They walked past the large statue where the two could see Pain speaking with a few of the other members. Kisame smiled when Rin waved at them. Even though they were deep in conversation, Orochimaru still managed a smile and a wave. Rin-chan, why don't you go on, I'm gonna see what's going on. Kisame told her. The ravenette nodded and skipped towards the more homely part of the base, bringing herself to her bedroom. It was between Itachi's room and Orochimaru's, though she hardly ever used it since she favored sleeping in with her Oto-san more. Even if he didn't go to bed till late in the night. She opened the door to see her plain room. Dresser, bed, nightstand, desk, and a door leading to a bathroom. Not too much. Her desk had all her weapons laid out on top of it. Her dresser was filled with her everyday wear of shorts, tank tops, fishnet, and kimonos, or her training clothes, long-sleeved gray shirts that stop above her stomach, and navy blue slacks. Scrolls covered most of her bed, as Kabuto had been trying to teach her mystical palm technique, though he had so far been failing miserably. Since Rin neither cared or wanted to learn it, she found no need to learn the healing ninjutsu, since Kabuto was always there if she or someone got hurt. But that did not make the silver-haired nin give up. He still tried his hardest. Rin glanced at the scrolls. She kinda wanted to master it just so Kabuto would stop bothering her about it. She looked at the scrolls and found herself grimacing. How did he expect her to learn something so boring? Rin's now 20. Rin-chan, you in there? Said girl groaned and flopped down on her bed. Yes, Kabuto ni, she muttered into one of the pillows she was laying on. Her door opened and in walked her Oto-san's assistant. Rin-chan, Orochimaru-sama is looking for you. She nodded, sitting back up, smoothing out her clothes. Her hair falling down to her waist lower back. Okay. She got up and followed the man out of the room. He led them through the dark halls of the Akatsuki base. Rin frowned, sensing the tense atmosphere in the hall. Kabuto ni, is something wrong? She asked, looking up at him. He tensed and his grip on her hand tightened. It's nothing you need to worry about, Rin-chan. He assured her, though she could sense that he was lying. Rin chose not to ask. She looked straight ahead, where she could see her Oto-san chakra. He was in his room sitting up in bed. Rin's speed increased. Orochimaru was never in his bed so early. Oto-san. She almost knocked the door off its hinges as she ran into the room, her arms wrapped around him within seconds. Are you hurt? What happened? Orochimaru chuckled, ruffling her hair, though it looked strained in his daughter's eyes. Rin-chan, I'll be fine. He told her. The main reason I called for you was because I need you to get some things from Otogakure. Rin nodded. This wasn't the first time they had sent her out. Buddha frown formed on her lips. They always sent her out when Haruto-san was ill. Why can't Kabuto ni do it? She asked. This had to be the first time she didn't agree, and the shock showed on both Orochimaru and Kabuto's faces. Rin, I need you to go. Her Otou-san said in a serious tone. Rin looked up at her Oto-san with a small pout. What am I getting this time, Oto-san? She asked, clearly annoyed. I I believe Kabuto wrote a list, yes? Orochimaru turned his gaze to his assistant. Yes. Kabuto pulled out a small scroll and handed it to Torin. She put it in one of the inside pockets of her kimono before hugging her Oto-san. I'll miss you, Oto-san, she muttered. Orochimaru hugged her back. It'll only be a week or so. She nodded and released him. Getting to her feet, she turned her gaze to Kabuto. Kabuto ni, take care of my Oto-san, she instructed. The boy chuckled and nodded. You're the one you should be worrying about. She cracked a smile before she left the room. She went straight to her own and pulled out her traveling pack, putting her scrolls, a few sets of clothing, picture of her Oto-san Kabuto and herself, and some field rations. She stuffed her weapons into her hidden pockets of her kimono, then threw her purple sleeveless cloak, lined in white, on lifting the hood to hide her face. Her white kimono sleeves looked as though he were part of the top article of clothing. She clipped the top, stopping it from falling off, but allowing the cloak to flow back behind her. She pulled on her small pack, and left her room. I see Orochimaru's sending his daughter away again. Rin looked up to see Sasori. He looked to have just come from his room. She nodded. Oto-san needed me to get some things. Sasori shook his head as he walked past her. You believe everything he says so easily. Rin's eyes went wide and she turned to scold him for accusing Haruto-san of lying to her, but when she turned, the red head had already vanished into the darkness. She clenched her fist as she turned back the way she was going before. She didn't run into any more of the Akatsuki members until she was passing the large statue, where she could see a few members in its fingers. Pain caught her eye and gave her a curious look. The rest of the members looked equally curious. From their knowledge, Rin never left the base alone. She waved to them as she continued walking. Where are you going by yourself? She grinned and looked up to see the members had come to join her in the ground. I'm on a mission for Oto-san, she replied. Itachi scowled as he looked at her. The pack told them she would be gone more than just a few hours. Wah, how long will Rin-chan be gone? Toby wants Rin-chan to stay. Toby complained, lifting her off the ground. I'll be gone a week tops, Toby, she muttered, forcing him to put her down. Toby anime cried at this new information and Rin noticed the other members tensing. Rin-chan, at least have one of us go with you? Itachi offered, stepping forward. She shook her head stubbornly. No, Oto-san gave me this mission, I'll complete it on my own. Fuck Orochimaru, I'm fucking going whether you fucking like it or not. Hidan snapped, only to get whacked over the head by his partner. If you go with Rin-chan, she'll be cursing and worshipping Jashin before the day's end. Rin sighed and crossed her arms. She was already doing the cursing. None of you are coming with me. I'm not a child anymore. I'm old enough to take care of myself. She huffed and bowed slightly. Thank you for your concern, but I'll be fine. The members looked taken aback by this. Rin always agreed to do things with them. Itachi stepped forward. Fine, but if you're not back by week's end, I'm coming after you, he warned. Her smile returned as she hugged him. Arigato, Itachi ni. That's why he's the Oni. Kisame muttered. Hidan frowned. I'll fucking find her first, he proclaimed as Rin gave him a small hug. She was passed around the group getting hugs until she came to Pain. She gave him a smile, though his face stayed serious. Don't get killed, was all he said before he turned and left. She nodded and turned back to the exit. Pain had opened it already. She summoned Nazo, slamming her hand into the ground. A poof of smoke and she was now on top of him. I'll see you in a week, she called out as Nazo slithered away in a fast pace. She turned her gaze on the path ahead, to Otogakure. Rin smiled. She wondered what her Oto-san was sending her to get. She pulled out the scroll and opened it. Rin made a giant sweat drop as she looked at the writing. Her anger rose as she stared at those 9 words. When you arrive, stay inside and stay safe, Oto-san. Rin ripped the scroll apart and threw it. Baka Oto-san, she growled. She had half a mind to go back and yell at him, but it was probably best she went to Otogakure. Rin leaned closer to Nazo as he swayed back and forth. Nazo, why do you think Oto-san wanted to get rid of me 4th week? He blinked a few times, glancing back at her. I believe he doesn't want Rin-sama to see him in such a weak state, he replied in his formal tone. Rin nodded in understanding. I guess that makes sense, she muttered, running her hand along his gray scaly neck. What Sasori had told her still slightly bothered her. Of course she trusted her Oto-san. He'd never lie to her. Her thoughts went to the mission she was on. Hardly ever lied to her. What else had he lied about? She wondered. Nezo increased his speed as they passed into the fire country. Rin remembered her Oto-san telling her it was best to take the long route, to avoid having to run in with the leaf. But Rin was a little anxious to get to Otogakure. She was taking the shortest route, even if it brought her within a mile of Konoha. Rin-sama, why are we taking the short route? Orochimaru-sama wanted us to take the long way. Nezo seemed a little tense about going close to the leaf. Nezo, I'm taking the shortest route so then we'll get there sooner. She replied, her eyes set on the road ahead of her. Actually Nezo, I think I'll run from here. But Rin saw. I'll summon you if I need you, she said, giving him a quick squeeze as they stopped. He vanished in a puff of smoke. Rin sighed and hid her chakra. The main reason she wanted him gone was because if she wanted to get past the leaf undetected, she needed to be unreadable. Rin started to walk. If anyone saw her they'd probably think she was a common traveler. She had no ninja headband, since her Oto-san thought it would be unwise, though Rin didn't understand why. He had known why couldn't she? Boredom soon took over the Ravenette's mind as she pulled out one of Kabuto's boring scrolls about medical ninjutsus. She wasn't exactly paying attention to where she was going, but her mind's eye of the Kagura told her someone was coming right for her. Rin stepped to the left just in time to watch the nin who had found her run into a tree. Watch where you're fucking going, you almost hit me fucker. She scolded them. The man went back onto his knees and gave her a one-eyed glare. Rin gave him a glare of her own, but the man's eyes went wide as they met hers. The small girl shook her head and turned away from the silver gravity-defying haired man with a mask. Be fucking careful next time. A hand latched onto her arm and pulled her back, causing Rin to yelp. What the fuck? She brought her gaze back to the man who was now holding her arm. Let go of me, you fucking bastard. The man did not do as she asked, making her anger rise. He ignored her and pulled in the direction Rin felt so many different chakra signatures, most likely Konoha. What the fuck are you doing? This is fucking kidnapping, let go. Rin continued to yell and scream at him as he pulled her through the trees and onto a rocky path. This had to be the first time she had ever interacted with someone that treated her so rudely. Being Orochimaru's daughter, had her being treated like a princess most her life, and on the few missions she had been on, she'd never come into contact with anyone her mission didn't need her to, though usually she'd kill before they could act like this. Got a lively one there, don't you, Kakashi? The silver-haired Mond who Rin guessed was Kakashi shrugged. Found hair about half a mile away, looked suspicious. Rin looked to see that they were now at the gates of Konoha. She groaned as she tugged even harder in an attempt to escape. Do you need help? Kakashi shook his head. No Katetsu, I got her. Rin was sure he was smirking under that damn mask as she growled at him. It was then the two guards really got a good look at her face. Katetsu nudged his companion who Rin knew as Azumo. They exchanged a glance as Kakashi pulled her away. Damn it, you fucker, let me go, she yelled. The two were soon attracting most of the village's attention as Kakashi pulled her toward the Hokage's office. A kid your age shouldn't be talking like that, Kakashi replied. I'm fucking 20. She screamed at him. Her cloak hood had fallen around her shoulders a while back. Her long raven locks flowed out behind her, reaching to her lower back in normal circumstances, but was being whipped around that moment by the wind as Rin's anger grew. Lashing out in different directions, the wind seemed to be reacting to her anger. Kakashi frowned and pulled her into the build and finally reached the Hokage's office door, but by then Sarutobi Hiruzen was already expecting them. Come in. Kakashi opened the door with his free hand and used it to help him pull Rin with him. He released her the moment the door was closed, leaving her no escape, since a nin with scars across his face was standing by the Hokage blocking the window. She hissed at them, backing into the closest corner. She recognized the man as Morino Ibiki, from her scrolls, head of Konoha torture and interrogation force. She had no intention of telling him all her secrets. The old man she knew as Sarutobi Hiruzen, Hokage, smiled as he got to his feet and approached her. My, you've grown up. I haven't seen you since you were 3-year-old. The Hokage smiled down at her. Rin hissed at them in response. You probably don't remember me though. The old man chuckled. Kakashi and Ibiki watched their Hokage in slight shock. He was so close to Rin, that if she wanted she could kill him in an instant. Are you going to talk to me, Rin? She sent him a silent glare. Hokage-sama, allow me to take her to interrogation, I'll get her to spill all her secrets. Ibiki offered. The Hokage shook his head. What good would that do, Ibiki? I doubt Orochimaru allowed his daughter to see what he's done. Rin narrowed her gaze. Oi, Hokage Oji-chan. Why don't you fucking release me before I fucking kill you? She growled. Kakashi had a kunai pressed to her throat in seconds. Don't threaten the Hokage unless you want to be the unkilled. He threatened. All three men tensed as the girl laughed. It was clear she didn't care. You fucking dared to threaten me? Odo-san will fucking destroy anyone who draws a fucking blade to me. She laughed, pushing Kakashi's hand with the kunai away. Kakashi, put away your weapon. Putting it in her line of sight will only give her the advantage of attacking you. The Hokage ordered. Rin got to her feet and glared at the three men that now had her stuck in the corner. Her back was pressed against the wall, her gaze traveling between the three. Rin, come here. Hiruzen beckoned for her to follow him to his desk. When Rin did not move, he sighed. I bear no will to harm you, Rin. You're my student's daughter after all. In a way you could be my granddaughter. Rin hesitantly passed Ibiki and Kakashi, giving them both trusting looks. She approached the Hokage's desk, giving Hiruzen a curious look. She dared not take a step closer. This man may well be her Oji-san, but that did not give him her trust. Come on. He beckoned her again. When Rin made no motion toward him, he took a long drag from his pipe. Rin, Orochimaru filled your head with bad things about our village, am I correct? She shrugged. Odo-san didn't fucking tell me of the leaf. All my fucking knowledge of the leaf I learned from the scrolls one was given. She explained, casting a sideways look at the two Jounin that had moved closer. Hiruzen nodded and thought, we're not as bad as your Odo-san thinks. Rin scoffed and pointed at Kakashi. Exhibit A. Grabbing me while I was fucking traveling and pulling me to this fucking village. She practically yelled, slamming her fist on the desk. The old man chuckled. He was only doing his duty to protect the village. Which I'm glad he found you. I always wondered if you'd take on all your Odo-san's traits or have a few from your Okawa-san. Though it seems Orochimaru's genes were dominant. He chuckled as he looked at the 20-year-old, near the mirror image of Haruto-san aside from her frame. She huffed, crossing her arms. She didn't like talking about Haruka-san. Rin, why don't you stay and learn about your Odo-sancho? She scoffed. Like I'd want to stay in this fucking dump. She grumbled as she sat on the edge of his desk. Rin, try it, you might find yourself liking your would-be home. The third pushed. When she gave him no response, he sighed. Kakashi, your new mission is to guard Rin, and stop her from leaving if she tries. What? Both nins screamed at once before casting each other nasty glares. Fuck, you're going down, copycat. Rin yelled. Likewise, Rin, he growled. She turned away from him right as a small child wearing a scarf and an odd hat ran in with a shuriken. Fight me, Oji-san. He took 2 steps before he fell, ending right at Orochimaru's daughter's feet. She glared down at the boy. Who the fuck are you? He hissed. The child ignored her words as he stood up. You tripped me, he yelled, pointing at the ravenette. Rin's eyes narrowed as she crossed her arms. No, you fucking tripped on your damn scarf, brat. Rin, don't use such language in front of Konohamaru. The third sighed. Honorable grandson. Rin's frown only deepened as Ibasu came into the room. His eyes narrowed behind his glasses as he caught sight of Rin. She returned his glare before looking back at the boy. He was smirking. Not gonna hurt me now, are you? He challenged. Rin's eyes seemed to burn with rage and she could see the fear in the boy's eyes. Like I give a fuck if you were his grandson, she yelled and went to punch him full force, but Kakashi blocked. Konohamaru, it's not wise to challenge Rin. He muttered as he twisted Rin around so she was facing the Hokage. The Hokage sighed. You two are dismissed. Kakashi nodded as he took hold of Rin's arm and pulled her out. I'll fucking kill you next time. She yelled at Konohamaru, who already looked ghost white. He must have sensed the killer intent in her attack. Damn it, you fucker. Let go. Rin screamed as they repeated their earlier activity of Kakashi pulling Rin through the village. Rin, you're not making this any easier. Kakashi groaned. Do I look like I give a damn? She asked, meeting his gaze. The man frowned as he pulled her along. He was starting to wonder if she cared about anything. I'm gonna make Shiroto-san fucking kills you. She muttered. Kakashi smirked at that. I don't think you will. He replied. Rin scoffed as he slammed her against a wall, his anger clear in his right eye. Rin was tempted to see what was hidden under that mask, probably an ugly face. Look, you hate me. I hate you. But we're going to have to learn to live with each other. He yelled. Alright? The frown that formed on the Ravenette's lips would have made Haruto-san or Akatsuki give in to her request. But the Konoha Jounin did not seem as affected. He left her gaze and she looked to see him opening a door to his must-be apartment. Rin furrowed her brow as she looked at him. Why wasn't he releasing her? Hey, let me go. Not yet, he muttered, pulling her into the average-size apartment. Rin frowned as she stared at the room before her. Standing in the small entrance, she removed her shoes with her free hand. What of the living room she could see was a double recliner and a love seat, double window, coffee table, a small table with a lamp on it in one of the corners. A large shelf of books on the far wall. What disgusted her was how dirty everything was. Takeout boxes, bags, and ramen cups covered the table. She was sure she saw mold. On the floor, there was a few articles of dirty clothing. How can someone fucking live in this? She asked as she caught sight of the kitchen, more boxes and ramen cups. The sink filled with dirty dishes as was the counter. He had a medium-sized fridge and a gas stove. I've been too busy with missions to really take care of the place. Kakashi mumbled, rubbing the back of his neck. Rin sighed. If she was going to be living here with this lazy Askabi cat, she was going to need it to be clean. Where are your fucking cleaning supplies? She asked. Kakashi gave her a confused look. Under the sink. Why? Rin's hand slipped from his as she went to the kitchen. To Kakashi's amazement, she pulled out dish soap, cleaning rags, window cleaner, and his black garbage bags. She rose to her feet, placing them on the kitchen table. She pulled off her pack and her purple cloak, revealing her white kimono lined in lavender. Now, she handed the bags to Kakashi. Go throw away your fucking garbage. She ordered, taking the dish soap and going back to the sink. Kakashi rose a brow as she started to organize and rinse the dishes before stacking them again. She filled one of his two-part sink with dish water and turned to him. Goon, he chuckled, crossing his arms. What are you doing? She sent him a glare. If you expect me to fucking stay, this place has to be fucking spotless. She growled, going back to the sink. The man smirked as he went to his living room. He'd have to thank the Hokage for giving him his own private maid. Though the fact that Orochimaru's daughter was doing this made him slightly nervous as he peeked into the kitchen every few minutes. Rin was scrubbing his dishes so hard he was amazed she had not broken them. She placed them on the drying rack as she went along. He moved into the kitchen after picking up the garbage in the living room. Rin was then cleaning the counter and it finally clicked. The young woman that was scrubbing his kitchen floor was OCD. He watched in awe. She definitely wasn't going to like her stay. Rin had washed, dried, and vacuumed every surface in his house, making it shine. She was scrubbing the windows when Kakashi finally stepped forward. Rin, the Ravenette slightly jumped as if she'd just realized he was there. Don't you have medication to help with your disorder? He asked. Her cheeks tinged pink as she looked down. Kakashi saw her hands clench on the cloth she had been scrubbing the window with. Yes. And I fucking took it. Kakashi rose a brow. What was she like when she didn't take it? Hugh wondered. Well, maybe you should take double your amount. He suggested as he stood. She slowly nodded. He wasn't the first one to tell her that. Her Otou-san had made sure she took double, after seeing her clean one of his hideouts entirely, including the experiment cells. Though she knew nothing of his experiments, as her Oto-san told her they were just helping the people. She got to her feet and placed all the cleaning supplies back in their designated areas. The rags she put in a hamper that Kakashi had pointed out. I don't have a guest room, so you can take my room, Kakashi muttered as she picked up her pack and purple sleeveless cloak. Rin looked up at him. Where will you fucking sleep, copycat? Kakashi cracked a smile at the nickname. Though she had relaxed a little since he'd brought her into his apartment, it was clear she was far from trusting him. I'll take the couch, he replied. How do you fucking know I won't get out? You'll have to get past the couch to either the windows or the door. The Jounin pointed out. Rin frowned as he led her to his room. Her frown deepened as he opened the door. Even if she had cleaned his room earlier, she still felt uneasy. He had only let her clean the floor and bed. Kakashi followed her in as he pulled out a few articles of clothing. Rin placed her pack by the bed, laying her cloak on the foot of the bed. There was a bookshelf right near the bed, a desk by that, and a window right above where his head would lay. What about that window? She asked. It's been sealed. You tried to get in? All no. He replied. The Ravenette slowly nodded at this. Bathrooms across the hall, if you need it, he told her before he left the room. Rin sat on the bed almost hesitantly. She was staying with a man who read Jiraiya's book, Come Paradise. She recalled reading part of it once, trying to learn more about her Oto-san's teammate. This led her to believe Kakashi to be a pervert. Rin laid back on the bed. It was a lot comfier than hers back at the base. She felt like she could sink into it. She took off her kimono, changing into a lavender tank top and purple shorts. She neatly placed her kimono in her pack. She'd wash it the next day. The Ravenette then went back to the bed. Pulling back the gray blankets and sheets, she sunk into it. Pulling the covers up to her chin, she rolled to her side, hugging the pillow. She usually did this instead of laying on it. Her eyes filled with curiosity at the interesting smell that the pillow seemed to be soaked in. Smelling of the forest and a masculine smell. Rin's gaze went to the door. She could see Kakashi's chakra forming his body right outside. "What do you fucking want?" she asked, sitting up, the pillow still held in her arms. The door opened to reveal Kakashi. He still wore his mask, but aside from that he was shirtless and in sweatpants. Rin might have blushed, had she not grown up around 11 men and 1 woman. "Are you going to be there for the rest of the night?" he asked, stepping in. Rin narrowed her gaze at him. "I believe so," she muttered. Kakashi nodded in response. He leaned against the doorframe, noting the way she clutched the pillow. "Are you used to having something to hold?" he teased. "Actually, copycat, I usually do, so fuck off," she explained. Her hold on his pillow tightened. Kakashi chuckled. "You're an odd one, though that shouldn't be a surprise seeing as your Oto-san is—" The Jounin was cut off by a pillow to the face. "Shut up." The pillow fell from Kakashi's face, revealing the annoyed look in his eye. He caught the pillow with one hand. That was a very stupid move. When she gave him a confused look, she was sure he was smirking under that mask. "For now, I have my pillow. Thus you nothing to hold," he said, turning to leave. Rin's eyes went wide and she was out of his bed before the Jounin could blink. "Give it," she demanded as she tackled him, trying to grab it. Kakashi and her rolled into the wall, landing with him blocking her from hitting the hard wall. He groaned and looked down at the Ravenette. She had a frown on her lips and he wondered if she was trained to show no emotion, since any normal girl in such a pose and little clothing would be blushing in the arms of a shirtless man. "Did you just tackle me for a pillow?" he growled. She nodded and grabbed it. Yes, I did. Now gimme the fucking pillow." She snapped, tugging on it, trying to get him to release it. "Rin, are you afraid to sleep without holding a pillow in your arms?" Kakashi asked, his right brow rose. "Or are you afraid to sleep alone and the pillow is the closest to having someone close?" Rin's mouth opened but no words came out. She glared down at the pillow, a slight tinge of pink dusted her cheeks. She yanked the pillow from his hand and bolted back into his room, slamming the door behind her. Kakashi chuckled as he stood up and went back to the couch. Like a child and their teddy bear, that was this woman with a pillow. Kakashi smirked as he looked at the mass before him. For someone who was OCD, Rin was a complete mess. She was still hugging his pillow, her face buried in it while hair-raven locks were tangled from her excessive tossing and turning. Her shirt was riding up so he could see her flat white stomach. The blankets were under her, but wrapped around her left leg. She looked kinda like she was doing the splits. The leg not wrapped in blankets was pointed up. She was hugging it along with the pillow. Kakashi wondered how she had accomplished all this in less than 8 hours and, though he'd never ask, how her skin could be such a light color. "Rin." He reached out to poke her nose, but she kicked his hand away before he came too close. Her bright golden snake eyes met his in a nasty glare. She left this gaze to spare a glance at the clock before her gaze returned Tohi's dark orb. "It's 6 in the fucking morning." She groaned, rolling onto her stomach. "Rin, it's time you get up," Kakashi ordered, though the daughter of the snake Sanin did not move. "Rin." She cast him a glare before sitting up. "I'll fucking kill you one day," she growled, picking up her pack. Kakashi watched as she left his room and went straight into the bathroom. The Ravenette emerged an hour later dressed in a gray and purple kimono, similar to the one she wore the day before. Her long raven locks falling over her shoulders, her bangs framing her face. He glanced over her shoulder to see his bathroom shining, telling him most of that hour had been her cleaning. "Why did you need me up so fucking early, copycat?" She asked, looking up at the Jounin, before she walked past him and went about fixing the sheets and blankets on the bed. "I need to do some things and I can't just leave you here," he replied. Rin sent him an uneasy look, before she got to her feet and looked at him. Kakashi took this as a signal for him to tell her what they were doing today. I'm being assigned a team of genin to train and teach. Hokage-sama will be showing all the team senseis their teams and living spaces. Rin frowned at this new information. Can I stay? I don't want to fucking deal with a bunch of brats. She muttered, crossing her arms. Kakashi shook his head and took her hand into his. No. Rin frowned, yanking her arm free. She grabbed her cloak. Fine, but you're sure as hell not holding my hand. She growled, throwing it on before she walked past. She pulled her hood over her face. The silver-haired Jounin sat beside her as they pulled on their shoes. Purple suits you, he muttered. The Ravenetta didn't respond, and Kakashi had a funny feeling that she was trying to come up with an insult while blushing. She stayed silent, though he saw her mouth open multiple times only to shut itself. He smirked behind his mask. She hissed when he took her hand into his as they left. Don't want anyone coming after you. He joked, though he was sure if some shinobi knew who she was they would be after her. Since all of them hated her Oto-san, it was only natural they hate her too. It was like people hating Naruto for having the Kyuubi. She didn't reply but let him lead her to the meeting room where the Hokage sat with all the sensei, watching the newly graduated genin. Rin huffed from where she stood a ways from the group. She didn't care much for what they spoke of. Even Sasuke did not make her curious. Her Otou-san would be taking him soon enough, and when headed, Rin would go back with him. Oi, Kakashi, what's Rin doing? Hiruzen asked, looking past the Jounin. Rin was on the floor with a rag scrubbing the floor till it shined. Kakashi's sweat dropped and leaned forward so only the Hokage would hear. It appears Orochimaru's daughter is a little OCD. The Hokage nodded slowly, while the silver-haired Jounin got Rin off the floor. I thought you took your medicine? I did, but the fucking floor, look at it. It's covered in little fucking teeny tiny marks. She mumbled, pointing at the ground. Kakashi sighed and held her hand, keeping her from going back to cleaning. So what Kotetsu said is true, Kakashi said. Nin looked at Asuma and nodded. Hokage-sama, how can you allow his daughter to stay in the village? Another Jounin asked. She is of no harm to us. She is only confused. The Hokage explained. So this is Naruto's house? Kakashi asked as he stood with the Hokage in the blonde's small apartment. Rin was thrown over his shoulder to keep her from going on a cleaning rampage. Sasuke, from the Uchiha clan, is also going to be in your group. I wish you luck, the Hokage pointed out with an amused look on his face. Rin looked ready to kill. Kakashi looked around, realizing the milk was expired. He picked it up with his free hand. This expired a while ago. He'd be making runs to the bathroom all day. Looks like something disastrous is going to happen. He sighed and threw it away. Damn it, copycat, put me down, you fucker. Rin yelled. The Hokage chuckled. I'm sorry to give you a mission like Rin at the same time, but you're the first one I thought of. The old man laughed. Shut the fuck up, OG-chan. You're already on my fucking Kami damn list. The two men couldn't help but chuckle as they left Naruto's. Weren't we supposed to fucking be there like 4 fucking hours ago? Rin asked as she walked beside Kakashi. The man shrugged, he didn't really care. Rin could already see his team's chakra: Naruto the Kyuubi host, Uchiha Sasuke, and Haruno Sakura. She didn't like the feeling of Naruto's, the Kyuubi's chakra silently haunting her. Sasuke's frustrated her almost as much as Kakashi's did. Kakashi went first into the room, only to have an eraser fall on his head. Baka, you could have easily missed that. Rin mocked as he looked to see his new students. Naruto was laughing his heart out while Sakura was apologizing. Sasuke didn't react though. Rin still stood outside the door. She grinned at Kakashi's words. How should I say this? My first impressions of you guys are I hate you. Rin chuckled as she stepped into the room beside him to see the looks on their faces. Meet on the roof, he ordered as he and Rin vanished. When the genin arrived they sat down while Kakashi and Rin stood in front. Let's see, why don't you introduce yourselves? Kakashi suggested. When Sakura asked how, he explained. What you like, hate, your dreams, and hobbies. Rin sighed, standing beside him. Naruto and Sakura were giving her slightly frightened looks, though they could only see her mouth and down. Hey, could you introduce yourself first? Naruto asked. Me? Kakashi pointed at himself and thought. I'm Hatake Kakashi. I have no intention of telling you my likes and dislikes. As for my dream, I have few hobbies. Rin smirked as Sakura muttered how he really only said his name. Now it's your turn, Kakashi said pointing at Naruto. He introduced himself saying his like of ramen and his hobbies include trying different types of ramen. His future dream is to become the greatest Hokage. Rin found him slightly less scary after that. Okay, next. Sakura grinned and introduced herself. To sum it all up, she likes Sasuke, hobby is stalking Sasuke, dreams of marrying Sasuke, and she hates Naruto. Rin sighed. She was trying not to freak out about how dirty the railing Kakashi was leaning against was. Finally it was Sasuke's turn. Hates a lot of things, doesn't like many, and he dreams to kill a certain man. Rin tensed and sent him a glare. She knew full well he was talking about her Itachi ni. Alright, you all have very unique personalities, Hey, sensei, who is that? Naruto demanded pointing at Rin. The Ravenette frowned as she glared at nothing in particular. I am Yakushi Rin, she hissed. Kakashi sighed. Yes, Rin will be with our team acting as a second sensei, until the Hokage says otherwise. Come on Rin-chan, introduce yourself. Kakashi teased. Rin sent him a glare that she soon set on the three genin thought he could not see it from her hood covering her face. I only like my family and Nezo. I hate everything else. My dream is to kill a certain sensei. All three students instantly guessed it was Kakashi. And my hobbies include killing those who get on my nerves. She hissed. Everyone tensed, while Kakashi's sweat dropped. Rin-chan, don't be so harsh on their first day. Anyway, our first mission will be tomorrow. The Jounin stated. The mood brightened at that until Kakashi explained it would be a survival training. This is no ordinary training, if you fail you go back to the academy. Kakashi chuckled. Naruto complained but Kakashi just waved him off. The details can be read on this printout. Don't be late, he ordered giving each student a sheet. Rin sighed as Kakashi waved to them. See you then. Oh and eat breakfast or you'll be sick. He warned before he and Rin vanished. It looked like Rin-sensei wants to kill us. Naruto muttered after the adults had left. Sakura nodded. She doesn't seem to like Kakashi-sensei either. I'm more interested in what's under her hood. Naruto replied. Sasuke sighed as he got up. Figures, we have two sensei. One you can only see their right eye, the other you can only see their mouth. It works in a way, Sakura said. They complete each other. Oi, Kakashi, this isn't fair. Why do I have to fucking help you with those brats? Rin complained when they got home. I can't leave you here, and Rin, get a hold of yourself. You won't be able to clean the training grounds no matter how hard you try. Kakashi told her as he sat on the couch. Well, it's not like I want to be this way. I just need to be able to control my life. I like things clean and organized. Rin snapped, her hands curled into fist. Well, you can't control everything. You're going to have to live with it. He yelled. I'm trying, but it's not as easy as it sounds. Rin hissed. Kakashi glared down at her. She was polishing the already polished coffee table. This is you trying? Rin, you've cleaned that table 3 times now. It's clean enough. He snapped, grabbing both her hands. The Ravenette glared at him with pure hatred, but there was a hint of sorrow. Her eyes were glistening and Kakashi was sure that if she wasn't so stubborn she'd be crying her eyes out. The silver-haired nin pulled her close. Her head rested on his shoulder as he held her as close as he could get her. Though she did struggle at first. Sorry Rin, it's partly my fault you're like this. Since your OCD worsens under stress. He mumbled. It's okay to let it out, you can cry. Rin hiccuped as she tried to keep her tears contained. Let it out, you'll feel better. He told her. F fucking pervert. She cursed as she started to cry but managed to keep herself silent aside from the occasional hiccup. Kakashi rubbed her back in soothing circles as he slowly lowered them onto the love seat. Kakashi sighed as he adjusted to make himself a little more comfortable, though the way Rin was now positioned on his lap was uncomfortable enough. Kakashi glanced down at her. He wondered if she ever let her emotions out, or if her Oto-san even allowed her to. His eyes narrowed. He had heard very little about Orochimaru that was good. This brought him to wonder if he even treated Rin like a daughter. So that's where the fucking smell comes from. Kakashi looked to see her looking at his shirt. What? Your pillow smells like you. She muttered. Kakashi tried not to chuckle as he loosened his grip on her. Oh. Rin let out a sigh and went to get out of his arms, but Kakashi's grip tightened. He met her confused gaze, with a stern look in his eye. Rin, was Orochimaru kind to you? His eye went wide as her right hand collided with his masked cheek. You don't know anything, copycat. Oto-san was the best, anyone would be lucky to just know him. She snapped and ripped herself out of his grip. Kakashi cursed under his breath as she vanished into the hall. He shook his head as he stood. She was probably going to be cleaning his room for the next 10 hours. He got to his feet and went to his bedroom door. Rin? He knocked gently. He could hear his sniffling from the other side. Rin? He peeked inside to see her scrubbing the floor. Rin? Go away, fucker. She hissed as her pressure on the brush intensified. Kakashi's sweat dropped as he went to crouch beside her. I'm sorry, Rin. Everything I've heard about Orochimaru makes him out to be evil. He explained. Oto-san's not evil. He's only misunderstood. Oto-san is a great shinobi. He takes good care of Rin. Even when he's sick, he puts Rin's needs first. She muttered, talking in third person. This made her sound more like a 5-year-old than a 20-year-old. Kakashi sighed and stroked her head, as she slowly relaxed. All right. Rin's scrubbing became less hectic and he smiled. We're going to have to work on keeping you relaxed, he muttered. Rin chuckled at his words. She knew she was a pain. The fact that she needed to clean to keep herself sane was going to bother Kakashi to no end. The Akatsuki learned that keeping her calm and happy was the best way to keep her from going on a cleaning rampage. Rin, in your introduction you said you only like your family and Nezo. Who is that? Kakashi asked. Rin smiled, placing down the brush. She did her summoning jutsu, slamming her fist into the ground. Kakashi instantly wished he hadn't asked as his room was suddenly stuffed sky high. The large red-eyed gray snake covered the entire floor and bed. Its head was about the size of his mattress. Rin giggled as she hugged the top of the reptile's head, that had her pressed against the ceiling. This is Nezo. Nezo, this is Kakashi. She introduced. He peeked over the snake's tail as he was pushed up against the wall. The snake filled almost all the way to the ceiling, though it was curled up. Maybe a foot from the ceiling was left in the room, and from the look of it, Nezo wasn't even completely in the room. The end of his tail outran the hall. Any doubts Kakashi had of this not being Orochimaru's daughter vanished as he stared at the beast. Rin-sama, why aren't we in Otogakure? Nezo asked his summoner. Rin's sweat dropped, stroking the snake's head. Well, something's happened, Nezo-kun, and now I'm in Konohagakure. She mumbled in a childish voice. Nezo glared at Kakashi. Are you the reason my mistress is not in Otogakure? Kakashi gulped and nodded slowly. Mistress, allow me to take care of this puny shinobi. She interrupted, sliding off his head, landing between the man and Nezo's fangs. Nezo relaxed slightly, allowing her to stroke his nose. No, Nezo-kun. Please, Kakashi is only watching me, he means no harm. She explained, cutely kissing his head. Kakashi stared at her, slightly shocked. How could she be showing such affection to the snake? Even he didn't show that kind of affection to his dogs. Now Nezo, I'll summon you when I need you again, K? The snake gave Kakashi a glare before he nodded. Yes, Rin-sama. He vanished in a puff of smoke, causing the two to fall to the ground. Rin landed on the bed while Kakashi on the floor. There, now you know Nezo. She said, a smile on her lips. Kakashi sighed as he rubbed his eye. Please don't summon him in the house. I don't want him to destroy anything. He muttered, standing up. Rin nodded and Kakashi couldn't help but smile. Hers was contagious. So, she looked up at him, slightly confused. You were on your way to Otogakure when I caught you, huh? He asked, meeting her gaze. She slowly nodded, hugging his pillow once again. Were you going to K? I was going there because Oto-san didn't want me to see him sick. She cut him off before he could make any assumptions. Kakashi nodded. So you weren't going to? He trailed off and ran a finger along his neck in a killing motion. She shook her head. No, Oto-san doesn't like giving me assassin missions. She replied. Kakashi gave her a curious look. I would have thought he'd be giving you all of the assassin missions? No. She looked tense again and Kakashi realized he should change the subject. Are you hungry? He asked. Her eyes lit up and she nodded. He chuckled and beckoned for her to stand. Are you okay with ramen? Is it cup ramen? No, I was thinking we could walk to Ichiraku's ramen, Kakashi replied. Rin thought a moment before getting to her feet. She pulled her hood up and Kakashi sighed. You don't need to hide your face. Most shinobi have probably been briefed by the Hokage on your presence in Konoha by now. He explained. She ignored his words and followed him out of the apartment. Kakashi chuckled as he watched Rin walk past a group of Jounin he recognized as Asuma's team. They were looking at her with terrified eyes. He wondered if his team had said anything about her hobby to Theothers. When they arrived at Ichiraku's, Rin stared at the stool for a long moment. She pulled out a small cloth and placed it on top before sitting down. "What can I get you too?" the man asked with his normal smile as Kakashi sat beside her. "Miso, please," Rin said quietly. "I'll have the same," Kakashi replied. Rin cast him a glance that he could only just barely see under her hood. The man served them their ramen and Kakashi tried not to choke on his noodles as Rin wiped the counter and the outside of the bowl with another cloth she'd pulled from her sleeve. Rin looked up at Kakashi. Her eyes went slightly wide as she looked at his face. She was wrong. There were no scars or anything, just a perfect complexion, aside from the scar over his left eye. Her eyes were glued to his face. It was as though Kami had carved it themselves. Kakashi glanced to see her looking at him. A small blush tinged his cheeks. Rin's cheeks were equally pink as she quickly turned away and ate her ramen. She finished her bowl a little before Kakashi. He had to swallow his quickly and block her from paying. "My treat, Rin." Chef frowned as he paid for the meal. "Arigato, Kakashi," she uttered, getting up and picking up the cloth. Kakashi looked at the ravenette. She was refusing to look up at him. He should have been more careful. He followed her back to the house. Rin didn't make a sound. "Rin." He started as he closed the door behind them. "Why are you so quiet?" "Gomen nasai," she whispered, her head tilted down. Kakashi sighed as she took off her cloak and hung it on the hook right next to his jacket. "Kakashi, why do you wear the mask?" she asked quietly as she strolled to the love seat. Kakashi wondered if she had something against the double recliner. He sighed, sitting in the recliner across from her. "Well, one reason as well. An example is your reaction at Ichiraku's." He chuckled, scratching the back of his neck. Rin blushed at this, looking down, her hair covering most of her face. "I was just surprised. I expected your face to have scars," she mumbled. The silver-haired smirked until he realized she was cleaning the love seat, meaning she was stressed again. "Nope." Rin's head shot up faster than he could calculate, her eyes trained on something behind his head. "Someone's at the door," she said quickly. "No, there isn't," Kakashi muttered. His eyes went slightly wide as Rin crawled under the coffee table. Just then he heard a knock. "I stand corrected," he grumbled. He pulled out a kunai, expecting an enemy from Rin's actions. But when he opened the door, only the Hokage was there. He sighed with relief. "How may I help you, Hokage-sama?" he asked. The old man smiled. "I just came to check on Rin. Haven't lost her yet, have you?" he teased. "No, I haven't." Kakashi chuckled, letting the man in. Rin was glaring at both of them from under the table. "What do you want, Oji-chan?" she growled. The man seemed unbothered by her tone of voice. "I just came to check on you, Rin," he explained. "Well, you have now go," she hissed as he came down to eye level with her. "Rin, come out from under the table." She shook her head stubbornly and turned so she was facing the wood floor. "Rin," she frowned, hearing Kakashi's voice. She sent the Jounin a glare. "Do as he says." "No." She tried not to blush as she imagined his beautiful pink lips forming each word he spoke. Damn him for making her even think such things. "Rin," she pouted, curling into a ball. "It's all right, Kakashi. Rin, don't cause too much trouble for him, his team will give him enough." She heard the Hokage say, then his chakra left the apartment. Kakashi looked back down at her and to no surprise, she was cleaning the floor under the table. He sighed and sat on the ground by her. "Rin, why don't you go take a shower and get some sleep?" he suggested. She looked up at him in an untrusting way. "How do I know you won't fucking peep?" she hissed. "YWOU?" He broke off as she pointed at his shelves of books. "You have Jiraiya-san's book." His sweat dropped. He had hoped she hadn't heard of her Oto-san's teammate's book. "I swear I won't," he offered. Rin gave him one last glance, before she rolled out from under the table and walked down the hall. He sighed and got to his feet. He'd just go to bed now. Kakashi went to his room and changed into his sweatpants. He glanced at his nightstand. His team's photo rested on it nicely. His old sensei Minato and his teammates Obito and Rin. He bit his lip as he looked back at the door. He wondered why Orochimaru had called her Rin. Was it because of its meaning? Or was it that he liked the name? He ran his hand along the frame. Rin was almost the complete opposite of the Rin that now stayed with him. He glanced back at the door to his room, the bathroom just across the hall. Why was it that Cammy had brought this Rin into his life? Was it some sick joke? He left his room and got the spare blanket he had used last night, before sitting on one end of the double recliner. He pulled the handle, making his feet come up, and he leaned back. He took off his headband. He didn't take off his mask though. Even if Rin had seen his face, he didn't feel secure letting her see it casually just yet. Rin got out of the shower only a few minutes later. Kakashi opened his right eye and watched in amusement as she tried to creep past the living room. Don't even think about it. He could just imagine her frowning as she walked around the recliner to face him. She was in a maroon-colored t-shirt that was far too big. It had two white serpents with red eyes leading from its back to rest over the shoulders and onto the sleeves. From the look of it, she wasn't wearing shorts. He rose a brow at her. What is it? She crossed her arms. You took the fucking pillow. She grumbled. Kakashi couldn't stop the smirk that formed on his lips. Oh really? I didn't notice. He chuckled. She just stood there before him. I think you can last one night without it. Rin's jaw dropped. No, I need it, now fucking hand it over. She yelled. Kakashi didn't move. The pillow was behind his back. No. Her eyes blazed with determination as she tugged his arm. Yes, give it. The Jounin tried not to laugh as she tugged his arm. Kakashi, she complained, falling backward and, to the Jounin's surprise, pull at him with her. Rin. Both were blushing now as Kakashi propped himself up above the ravenette. She was looking at him with equally wide eyes. Time seemed to freeze as neither one knew what to do. Rin's gaze was on his left eye. It had opened in shock only to reveal the Sharingan. Kakashi wasn't just shocked from the fall though. What shocked him was she had the mind's eye of the Kagura. Rin blinked as she stared into his mismatched eyes. They were mesmerizing. Kakashi blinked, closing his left eye. Rin. He sat up, climbing off of her and helping her up. Who is Yorika-san? Rin tensed, sitting up. That's none of your concern, Kakashi. She muttered, getting up. The man rose a brow as she grabbed the pillow and stormed past him. So your Okawa-san is a stingy subject. He stated to himself in a way, since his bedroom door had slammed halfway through the sentence. He was sure she wouldn't be going to bed until after doing a professional cleaning job on his room. He rested back on the couch trying to think of how Rin had gotten such a power. He was sure it was from her Okawa-san, since her Oto-san didn't sound like the one to experiment on his own daughter. At least that's to impressing Rin gave the copycat. You're late. Rin frowned as she and Kakashi walked up to his team. Good morning to you too, fuckers. She hissed. Kakashi chuckled as she was once again wearing her purple sleeveless cloak over her face, but what she wore underneath was different. She was wearing a gray long-sleeve shirt that stopped above her stomach, dark navy blue slacks and her sandals. She had a bandage around her left leg, a kunai pouch on her right side of the back of her pants. Rin actually looked like a ninja. This had caught Kakashi by surprise that morning when she came out of the bathroom in something that was not night clothes or a kimono. Kakashi soon explained the survival test of having to get the bells before noon. He also explained that whoever didn't get a bell wouldn't get lunch and would fail. Rin grinned when he mentioned that they needed to come at him with clear intent. She watched as Kakashi pointed Naruto's own kunai to his back. I haven't said start yet. She was sure a smirk formed on his lips. Hee, seems like him beginning to like you guys. Rin looked at him with wide eyes as he tossed her a bell. Don't let them get it, he called out to her before yelling start. Rin vanished in a puff of smoke, appearing a ways away. This was going to be fun. Note sarcasm. The ravenette frowned as he used her eyes to see Sasuke hiding a yard away. Sasuke, I know you're there. She grumbled. The other raven seemed slightly shocked as he left his hiding spot, walking up to her. Fight me, he commanded, going into a battle stance. The woman rose a brow. Did this genin really think he could beat her? The Uchiha lunged forward, but Rin only dodged, her hands crossed behind her back, giving little effort to her movements. How pathetic, and you plan on going after Itachi ni, she muttered. You don't deserve the honor of killing him. Sasuke's anger rose as his speed increased with an adrenaline. Rin smirked, seeing he was getting serious. She finally grew bored and did something she knew the boy would really hate. Can you guess it? She poked his forehead, sending him back at least 3 feet. Sorry Sasuke, maybe next time. The Uchiha stared at her cloak-covered face in utter shock. He was sure only a selected few knew his Oni had ever done such a movement, or the words he said with it. Yet this woman had called Itachi her knee, which only made him more confused. Rin sighed, making a stretching motion. I'd love to fucking stay and fight, but there's a soft snakehead with my name on it. She said, turning away from him. She summoned Nezo and laid on him. Nezo, keep me away from the Uchiha brat, but still in the area. She mumbled. The snake did as she asked with a glow of amusement in its crimson orbs. Kakashi sighed as he saw the ravenette summon her snake. She was almost as lazy as Shikamaru in a sense. I see it's over, she muttered, watching as the three genin looked at Nezo in awe before she released her summoning jutsu. Rin-chan, you're so lazy, you didn't even help me, Kakashi complained. The ravenette sent him a glare, making him turn his attention back to the genin. Well, there's no need for you guys to go back to the academy. He started. Naruto and Sakura looked ready to burst with happiness. Then, all three of us. Yep, all three of you should quit as shinobi, Kakashi said, making all three look at him in shock. Rin covered her ears to keep from going deaf at the argument Kakashi had just started. It ended in Kakashi pinning Sasuke to the ground. Rin smirked. Was she finally going to get to kill one of them? Sadly, that was not the case as they discussed the answer to the test. Teamwork. Kakashi's sweat dropped part-way through his speech about the memorial stone when he realized a certain ravenette was polishing it, which was good, but it was kind of killing the mood. He turned back to his team, trying to ignore the cleaning woman. He explained that he would give them another chance and that they were not allowed to feed Naruto. Kakashi vanished, leaving his students to eat while watching Rin clean like her life depended on it. Sakura had already put 2 and 2 together. But the boys didn't. Here, Sasuke offered his food to Naruto. Sasuke-kun, sensei just said. Don't worry, I don't sense him here. After lunch we'll work together and get the bells. Sasuke interrupted the pinkette. Without food we'll just be in the way and that'll hurt us. Sakura thought a moment before offering her own food to the blonde. Arigato, Naruto muttered. Rin sighed as she finally finished polishing the rock. She could almost see her own reflection in it. What is this, you guys? The three genin jumped as Kakashi appeared, clouds all around him. Pass, he did a closed-eye smile. When they seemed confused and asked how and why, he explained. A ninja must see underneath the underneath. Those who break the rules and codes of a ninja are called trash. Those who don't take care of their comrades are lower than trash. He grinned and gave them a thumbs up. All of you pass. Starting tomorrow, team number 7 will begin its duties. Rin sighed as she walked past Naruto, her face still hidden. She sliced the ropes holding him to the pole. Fucking idiot, she muttered to Kakashi. Those who fall behind get left behind. She hissed, her words filled completely with venom. The silver-haired Jounin looked at her slightly shocked. Had what I said meant nothing to her? The look in her golden snake eyes told him he was correct. He watched the ravenette with sad eyes, wondering what had gotten her to think such things. Kakashi sighed as he realized they were being followed. Can I fucking kill them now? Rin growled. She was walking right beside him. He could see the sadistic grin that overtook her lips. No, they're probably curious of their senseis. He told her. Senseis? Since when was I a sensei? She hissed, keeping her voice low so the three genin following wouldn't hear. Since I decided. Kakashi glanced at her before looking at his book. She scoffed. Those fucking brats can try all they want. This fucking sensei's not taking off her hood. She growled, pointing at herself. I'm honored that you allow me to see your face, Kakashi teased, not looking up from his book. Rin's cheeks flushed as he stuttered out curses. This only amused the Jounin though. But if you plan to stick to that, you might want to move before Naruto pulls your hood down, he advised. The ravenette turned on her heel, catching the blonde's arm. What the fuck do you think you're doing, brat? She hissed. Naruto chuckled nervously as he tried to come up with an excuse. Her hood cast a shadow over her face so he still couldn't see it at their close proximity. Well, there was a bug, a bug, and I was gonna shoo it away? He said, though the lie was clear as rain. Rin frowned. Try to pull my hood off and you'll be missing a hand. She hissed, releasing him. She turned away from the genin and walked past Kakashi. The silver-haired Jounin gave his students a look. Better dos, she says, Naruto. Rin's not exactly an ally to you or me. If she has the chance, she will kill. He muttered before following the Ravenet. So Rin-san isn't a leaf shinobi? Sakura wondered out loud. She has no headband, it makes sense why she's never out alone. Sasuke muttered as he gazed at the Ravenet. She reminded him of an Uchiha, but she seemed much colder and full of hate. What's the distance to the target? Kakashi asked into the communication mic. I sighed from where I was beside him listening as the genin clocked in. Go, Kakashi ordered. After a slight pause he asked. Ribbon on left ear. Are you sure this is target Tora? Yeah, we're sure. Sasuke's emotionless voice replied. Good lost pet, Tora. Search mission, complete. Kakashi, maybe I should fucking kill the cat. Put it out of its misery. Rin offered as they watched the Fire Country Lord's wife squish Tora. Kakashi chuckled but shook his head as Naruto demanded they get a better mission. Rin sat on the floor in the corner, a rag in her hand. Though she was better with her disorder now, she still had urges to clean when annoyed or unsettled. Her eyes shone with determination. The office's floor was covered in dirt from all the nin coming in and out. It was a silent mission that she was determined to make it shine. She snickered as the Hokage yelled at Team 7 to pay attention, since Naruto was going on about ramen. Alright, I'll give you a C-rank mission. Protection of a certain individual. Rin groaned and tapped Kakashi's foot, making him step out of the way as she scrubbed, but he pulled her to her feet. She was in her training clothes again. Who? A feudal lord? A princess? Naruto asked, excited. Ly. Calm down, I'm about to introduce him. Hey, will you come in here? The Hokage turned to the door. Rin frowned as she stared at the drunk. What's this? The Yare, a bunch of snot-nosed brats. Especially the short one with the super stupid-looking face. Are you really a ninja? Naruto laughed. Who's the shortest one with the stupid face? His face settled in a frown as he realized it was him. I'll kill you. Kakashi had to hold him back as he tried to attack the man. What's the point of killing the person we're supposed to protect? Baka, I am the expert bridge builder Tazuna. The man introduced himself. I expect you to provide me with super protection until I get back to my country and complete the bridge. Rin cast him a glare, though he couldn't see it. She really didn't want to come on this mission. Oi, Oji-chan. Assign some other Jounin to watch me. I'm not going on this fucking mission. She hissed. Hiruzen smiled. He had been waiting for the Ravenet to object. Rin, I'm sorry, but you're stuck with Team 7 until you finally decide to pledge your allegiance to Konohagakure. She frowned. Like I'd want to stay in the fucking village. Then I guess you're stuck with Team 7. She would have hit him had Kakashi not caught her around the waist. Arigato, Hokage-sama, she'll think about it. He stated, holding her back. Fuck no. I'm only loyal to Oto-san. Not a bunch of damn leaf nin. She screamed as they left the building. Hokage-sama, was that wise? Iruka asked, looking at the older man. Sandame chuckled. Probably not, but I believe she'll eventually grow attached to this village and want to return to Orochimaru. He stated. Hey, am I really going to be safe with this brat? Tazuna asked as he and Team 7 were just leaving the village. Haha, well I am a Jounin, don't worry. Kakashi smiled. What about that one? Tazuna asked, pointing at Rin. She was about 5 feet ahead of the team, her cloak zipped, you could just barely see her feet. Kakashi was watching her in case she tried to run. She looks like she'd rather kill me. Rin, she's not even a ninja. Kakashi sighed and hung his head. Yet she's maybe a Chunin, possible Jounin. Rin stayed silent. She didn't think she needed to be ranked. Her power was her own. It couldn't be measured by such ranks as Chunin and Jounin. She heard Naruto and Tazuna get into another argument and sighed. So why isn't she a ninja? Tazuna asked, going back to his conversation with Kakashi. Her Oto-san is a powerful man. From what I know, he taught and raised her away from society. Kakashi replied. Tazuna-san? You're from the water country, right? Sakura asked. What about it? Kakashi-sensei, do they have ninjas in that country too? She asked, looking at the Jounin. No, not in the wave country. But in most other countries. The culture and customers may be different, but hidden villages exist in So-do ninja. He explained. He explained how there were 5 great shinobi countries, with the 5 cages reigning over all shinobi. But don't worry, there won't be any ninja combat on a C-rank mission. Then we won't come in contact with foreign ninja? Sakura asked worriedly. Kakashi chuckled, ruffling her hair. Of course not. Rin frowned, glancing at a puddle. She could feel the chakra. She made hand signs replacing herself with a clone. She fell back and watched as ninja from the mist rose from the puddle. Barbs and chains wrapped around Kakashi in seconds. One down, one of the nin said as they tugged, pulling him apart before everyone's eyes. Rin's eyes went wide as they went after Naruto next. But Sasuke acted quickly, pinning the chains to a tree. He then attacked the two. One went for Sakura and Tazuna, but Sasuke jumped in the way only to have Kakashi grab the nin. Rin sighed as she got out of her hiding spot, planning on leaving the team. "Rin, don't even think about it," Kakashi called out to her. The Ravenette frowned and turned to him. "Try and catch me, fucker." She then turned and bolted. Though a Kakashi clone stopped her. "I have," he growled, taking her into his arms. He carried her back to the team. Rin was sure he was smirking. "Fucking ass." She hissed as Kakashi placed her on the ground before his clone vanished. "Tazuna-san, I need to talk to you," Kakashi growled as two hidden mist Jounin were tied to a tree. "Can I kill them?" Rin hissed, her anger at its limits. "No," Kakashi growled before he continued to converse with Tazuna and the team. Rin didn't realize Naruto had stabbed Hishand until she heard Sakura yelling at him. "With this kunai, I'll protect the old man. We're continuing the mission," Naruto yelled. Rin pushed past them, coming to stand in front of the boy. She had her hands glowing over his as she healed the wound, only to realize the Kyuubi was doing it for her. Kakashi seemed to notice this too. She wrapped his hand as Kakashi turned his gaze on Tazuna. "Wow, Rin-sensei is really amazing," Sakura gasped as he stared at the Ravenette. Rin frowned. She didn't like the way Sakura had seemed to grow closer to her. The last person Sakura should see as a role model is her. "Tazuna, how far is your fucking house?" Rin hissed as he followed them. This wasn't her first time to the waves, but she'd never met Tazuna before. "Not too far," Tazuna replied. "Rin-sensei, maybe if you took off your cloak you'd feel more relaxed," Sasuke said boldly. The Ravenette turned her gaze on the raven, though he couldn't see it. "Hell no, you wanna see what I fucking look like? You'll have to wait till I'm fucking dead," she snapped. The genin exchanged a glance. It was a long shot that she would have even considered it. Rin suddenly tensed, as did Naruto as he threw a shuriken. "Kakashi," she started to say, but Tazuna cut her off as they all yelled at Naruto. "Duck!" Rin suddenly screamed, but Kakashi had already tackled her down with Naruto. She looked up to see none other than Momochi Zabuza. She pulled her hood further over her face. She didn't feel like talking to him again. Their history wasn't nice either. Well, if it isn't the Hidden Mist's missing nin Momochi Zabuza-kun," Kakashi said, holding back Naruto from attacking. Rin stood beside him. "Everyone get back, this one is on a whole other level," Kakashi stated, raising his headband to reveal the Sharingan. Rin tried to seem unaffected as she remembered when she'd first seen it. "Sharingan Kakashi, sorry but the old man is mine," Zabuza said. "Surround and protect Tazuna-san. Do not enter the fight, that's the teamwork here," Kakashi ordered. Rin frowned and stood beside the Jounin. "You'll need my help." He gave her a curious look, but Rin did not look at him. "Looks like I'm breaking my own rule," she hissed. "Zabuza fights me first," he said. "I already get to see the famous Sharingan? I'm honored." Zabuza chuckled. His eyes went wide though as they landed on the woman hidden under the purple cloak. "I'd recognize that cloak anywhere." "Rin, what the hell are you doing with the leaf? If you're Oto-sa, Zabuza-kun, Oto-san left me with them. Today I'll fight you again, and I'll win this time," she hissed, cutting him off. She was sure the missing nin smirked as Sasuke explained Sharingan to Naruto. "I look forward to it." He turned his attention to the rest. "Hey, exactly. That's not all. What's even scarier is that you can copy your opponent's techniques once you see them." Zabuza talked with Kakashi before finally saying, "Now, let's end all the talking. I have to kill that old man. But it seems I have to beat you first, Kakashi." "Rin." He vanished and Rin smirked, pulling out two kunai. So he was going to start off with that jutsu. Rin ignored Kakashi as he filled the genin in on Zabuza's style. "Sasuke, don't worry. I'll protect you guys even if it kills me." He turned and smiled at the boy. "I don't let my comrades die." Rin and Kakashi both tensed as they ran toward their team's chakra. Kakashi stabbed the Zabuza, but one appeared behind him which Rin attacked. But not before he sliced Kakashi, who turned to water. Don't move, Kakashi stated. Rin had froze, knowing Zabuza was behind her. But Kakashi was behind him holding a kunai to his throat. It's over. Rin dodged as she realized the real one was behind Kakashi. Head ducked as the missing nin went to slice him. Zabuza kicked Kakashi away, sending him into the water. Foolish. Rin sent Zabuza a glare, placing her pack down. She charged toward Kakashi. She could see what Zabuza was going to do. Focusing chakra to her feet, she ran out onto the water, but it was too late. Zabuza had Kakashi trapped in the water prison. You tried to escape to the water. Big mistake. Now I have you in an inescapable prison. We'll finish things later, first I'll take care of them. A clone appeared before the genin and one blocked Rin from reaching Kakashi. Wearing those headbands and acting like ninjas. A real ninja is someone who has survived numerous brushes with death. Only when you're good enough to be in my handbook can you call yourselves ninja. He growled. He kicked Naruto, stepping on his headband. Kakashi yelled at them to run, that he couldn't move with the Jounin in the water prison. Naruto ignored his sensei and ran forward. Naruto, what are you thinking? Sakura screamed as Naruto got sent back. Rin frowned and went to help the genin, but another Zabuza formed in front of her. You're not going to help them, Rin. She clenched her fist, slightly annoyed with herself. When she first met the blonde, she would have let him die, but he was earning a spot in her cold heart. Always going on about become Hokage just so everyone would acknowledge him. She was like that in a way. She wanted people to see her for herself, not her Oto-san. Yes, I am. She did her hand signs quickly. Dong binding snake glare spell. Snakes came from her sleeves and went to bite Zabuza, but he jumped back away from her. You are your Oto-san's daughter. He chuckled as she retracted the snakes and went to help the genin. Naruto groaned as he got up, picking up his headband. Hey you eyebrowless freak, put this in your handbook. The man who will one day become Hokage. He tied his headband back on his forehead. Leaf Village Ninja. Uzumaki Naruto. Rin smirked as Naruto spoke with Sasuke. Maybe they didn't need her help. What are you doing? Run away. This fight was over the moment I was caught. Our duty is to protect Tazuna-san. Did you forget that? Kakashi yelled at them. Rin frowned and appeared next to Zabuza and Kakashi. Did you forget about me? She hissed. Kakashi sent her a look that Saida didn't trust her enough to do anything. You're an enemy. She clenched her fist. She had not tried to kill him since that first day. Her eyes narrowed, her jaw tightened. He was staring at her the same way so many people had looked at her Oto-san. Though he had teased her and ate with her, he still didn't trust her. She at least trusted him enough to not kill her in her sleep. She approached Zabuza. I'll need a rain check on that fight, Zabuza-kun. She then left his side and started walking away. Kakashi had even comforted her when she was in pain before. She sent him a glare, though he couldn't see it since her hood covered her eyes. That's what she got for letting someone past her first wall. She wouldn't make that mistake again. Only trust Oto-san and Kabuto ni. They're the only ones she can depend on. Maybe the Akatsuki too. She glanced at the genin. She'd make sure they made it out alive before she leaves completely. Rin. She didn't look back till she was on the edge of the tree line. For a moment I was thinking of staying in Konoha, Kakashi. But now, you can all go to fucking hell. She called back to him. She then went all the way into the woods. Thought she stayed close enough to watch. Watch it, Kakashi. That tone is a sure sign that you've been put on the top of her hit list. Zabuza chuckled. The Jounin sent him a glare, looking at where the raven had vanished. Zabuza and Kakashi explained the old graduation exams and how in the mist a boy, not even a ninja, had come and killed them all. That sure was fun. Zabuza muttered. Sasuke and Naruto stared at him in shock. Zabuza charged forward, hitting Sasuke and sending him into the ground. Sasuke-kun. Naruto did his shadow clone jutsu. Here I come. They all attached at once, only to be sent back by Zabuza's sword. Sasuke. Naruto threw a giant shuriken. The Uchiha caught it. Evil wind shuriken. Shadow windmill. He jumped and threw it at Zabuza. It went past him though. Going toward the real Zabuza. He caught it, but to his shock a second was under it. Zabuza jumped to dodge it. Naruto appeared in the shuriken's place with a smirk. He hurled his kunai at the man, cutting his cheek. Zabuza frowned and went to hit him with the large shuriken, but Kakashi blocked it, his body completely soaked. The two jumped away from each other and instantly started doing hand signs. Kakashi copying Zabuza's every move. The water rose up forming dragons. Rin leapt forward to help the genin as they tried to withstand the sudden force of water. She did the hand signs for wind release. Great breakthrough, though it only held it off a little, it was enough to keep them from being swept away. A huge explosion of water even knocked Rin off her feet as she held onto Naruto and Sasuke. Zabuza was forced up and pinned to a tree by Kakashi. His eye went slightly wide as he caught sight of Rin helping the genin. Why was she helping them? She could be long gone by now. A small light shined in his eyes. Did she change her mind? Hey, you're going to die, Kakashi stated, but it was not he who did the final blow. Everyone's eyes went wide. Zabuza's neck had 2 needles going through it. You're right, he's dead. They looked up to see a nin wearing a mask with the mist symbol on it. Kakashi appeared next to Zabuza, checking to see if he really was. Thank you very much. I have been searching for the opportunity to kill Zabuza for a long time. The nin said. That mask, you're a hidden mist hunter nin. Kakashi said. Impressive. Correct. When the genin looked confused, the hunter nin explained. Yes, my duty is to hunt down missing nin. I'm a member of the Hidden Mists Hunter Nin team. Naruto looked between the hunter and Zabuza. He yelled at the nin for killing Zabuza so easily. Kakashi explained that there can be people younger than them but stronger than himself. He ruffled Naruto's hair as the nin appeared next to Zabuza. He wished them farewell before vanishing with the body. Kakashi pulled his headband back down over his left eye. He turned to Sasuke. Make sure Rin doesn't run off. He ordered. Now, we have to get Tazuna-san home. Let's go. Haha, thanks guys. Come over to my house and relax a while. Everyone's sweat dropped when they saw Kakashi on the ground. Sasuke caught Rin's arm as she was about to leave. Rin-sensei, I have been ordered to keep you with us, he stated. Rin's eyes narrowed and she sent a glare at Kakashi. Yes, he was so at the top of her kill list. Are you alright, sensei? Kakashi looked at the woman before him. Tazuna's daughter Tsunami. Hi, I just can't move for a week or so. What? The Sharingan is incredible, but... Sakura looked at the Jounin. If it puts that much stress on the body, I guess you have to think before using it. Rin sighed from the other side of Kakashi, her cloak still covering her face. She had a chain around her left wrist that ended on the wall. This was his plan to keep her from running off. She would have just broken the wall, but then she met Tsunami. She wasn't planning on getting on the woman's bad side. Hey, I wonder what Kakashi's face looks like, Naruto muttered. Rin groaned, turning away from the group. She was trying to get the image of Kakashi's face out of her mind as it was only causing her to blush. Have you seen it, Rin-sensei? Sakura asked, sitting by the chained ravenette. Yeah, the woman mumbled, pulling her hood firster over her face. Was it ugly, scarred? She asked. It was normal. Rin lied, his face was anything but normal. It was carved by angels. I bet it's scarred, Naruto said. Rin could just see the two leaning over to take hold of his mask when Kakashi's eye flew open. Kya! Naruto and Sakura screamed as they fell back. Oh, Kakashi-sensei, you're awake. Tsunami smiled. Kakashi sat up slowly, his mind deep in thought. What's wrong, sensei? Naruto asked. Kakashi explained how usually a nin would dispose of the body on the kill site and the weapons he used to kill Zabuza. No way, Sasuke uttered. Most likely, Zabuza is alive, Kakashi stated. Rin scrubbed the floor by her prison spot as she tried to block out the annoying voices. That's not fun. Rin looked up to see a young boy, younger than the genin. Who the hell are you? Naruto yelled. Oh, Inari, where were you? Tazuna asked. Welcome back, OG-san, he said, going up to the man and hugging him. Inari, say hello to these people. They're ninja who are protecting OG-san. Tsunami said. The boy just looked at them. Okawa-san, they are going Todi, he said, looking at the woman. There's no way you can win against Gato. Sakura had to hold Naruto back to keep him from killing the boy. He yelled at Inari and only got more ticked when he said there are no heroes. Rin frowned and looked at Kakashi with her death glare. Though He couldn't see it, she had yet to speak to him since his battle with Zabuza. Rin, she cut him off. I'm the enemy, don't talk to me. She hissed. Kakashi bit the inside of his cheek. He hadn't meant to say that. It was a life or death situation. Naruto and Sasuke could have died, and he didn't even trust her enough to try to help them. She turned away from him, glaring at the wall as she scrubbed it. Rin, I didn't mean it. Why should I trust you when you don't even trust me? She challenged, not looking at him. And I wasn't lying back there. I really was thinking of joining Konoha. Kakashi grimaced at her statement. I'm sorry. I really didn't mean it, I just didn't want to see them get killed. You didn't trust me to save them. She hissed, her scrubbing becoming more erratic. I used my wind release, just to stop them from getting swept away by the water. The Jounin looked at her. I'm glad you were there, Rin. The Ravenette glanced over, just barely able to see his charcoal orb glistening. Kakashi? Her hand stopped scrubbing the wall as she realized the others had all left the room. Had Kakashi sent them out? She wondered. She was brought from her thoughts as she felt his hand in her cheek. She was about to hit him when he held her hand that wasn't chained to the wall. I'm not gonna hurt you, he said calmly. Rin felt her cheeks burn as he stroked her cheek with his thumb. His hand that was stopping hers from hitting him relaxed as it traveled to her shoulder. Rin felt him apply a little pressure to her lower neck, wanting her to move forward. She tensed, but his strokes on her cheek seemed to take that away. She slowly allowed him to pull her down, though she was still a little on edge. Kakashi's hand on her neck left and he went to pull his mask down. Rin's blush speed to her ears as she saw his face uncovered. He then pulled her hood back so he could meet her gaze. Rin, said Ravenette, looked up into his eye. It was mesmerizing. Kakashi. His left hand went to her back, pulling her down and away. Rin tried to keep herself propped up, but Kakashi had other plans. She gave a slight gasp as she slipped, falling against his chest. Her eyes went wide as she was now less than an inch or two away from him. If she moved just a bit, their lips would be touching. The hand, that Kakashi had kept stroking her cheek to keep her from freaking out, traveled to the back of her head, pulling her in that last inch. Rin's eyes went wide as her lips met his. Kakashi held her in place as she attempted to move away. After a moment he loosened his grip, fully accepting the slap that came to him before the Ravenette moved as far from him as her chain would allow. The Jounin glanced at her from where he lay. She was shaking in the corner. He felt his cheek and was sure it had a bright red handprint on it. Rin? She gave him no sign that she had even heard him. He pulled his mask back up. He wasn't sure whether the Ravenette was in shock or angered by his actions. He could only imagine what was going through her head right then. A man who had called her the enemy kissing her out of nowhere, probably her first kiss. She was raised away from society, so he doubted anything close to this had ever happened before. Kakashi-sensei? Said Jounin, looked at Sakura. She was standing beside him now, though she looked worn out. Yes, Sakura-chan? Did you and Rin-sensei fight? She asked, looking up at them. Kakashi sighed. You could say that. He sighed nervously. You like her, don't you? The pink-haired genin didn't seem to pick up the hint to let the subject slide. Whatever gave you that idea? Kakashi asked, slightly shocked, slightly surprised. That look in your eye. It's the way my Oto-san used to look at my Okawa-san. She said, watching as her teammates attempted to run up the trees again. Kakashi stifled a cough. Sakura-chan, Rin and I are just comrades. Nothing more, he explained. Sakura gave him a look that told him she didn't believe him for a second. Oh, really? Sakura-chan, she's not an ally, she's not even loyal to Konoha or any village for that matter. He growled. So you're into the bad girls? Sakura noted. Kakashi's gaze narrowed as he tried to be an adult on the subject, but getting with the bad girl was a turn on. No, I'm not into bad girls. It's just Rin, he said. Sakura did a fangirl squeal as she clapped her hands together. Does Rin-sensei know you like her? She asked. Kakashi stared at the ground. I believe so. The pinkette rose a brow as she stepped closer to the silver-haired Jounin. Do explain. She pushed. The man sighed, running a hand through his hair. I kinda kissed her earlier. And then she slapped me. And she hasn't spoken to me since. And? What do you mean? And there's nothing else to add. That's it, end of story. Kakashi snapped. Sakura sighed and shook her head. Get her a box of chocolates and flowers, lilies not roses. Rin-sensei doesn't seem like the overly expensive and fancy type, she stated. When Kakashi didn't seem to understand, she groaned. You need to apologize, girls like chocolate and flowers. Get her lilies. Then when she forgives you, take her out on a date when we get back, the girl instructed. Kakashi slowly nodded. So box of chocolates and lilies, he muttered as he left. Sakura grinned. She only wished Sasuke had a girl to go to like Kakashi did, that would tell him to bring her chocolates and flowers. Kakashi watched from where he was sitting next to Naruto. Rin had started cleaning Tsunami's kitchen after she'd finished her meal. It was clear to the Jounin that what he had done back in their room had stressed her out. She had yet to speak to him or make eye contact, not that he'd be able to tell if she did. Kakashi was slightly worried she'd unleash Nezo on him. Though when he thought about it, Rin could have pushed away from him before they even kissed. Thus maybe she had liked it and just thought it was wrong only after their lips connected. He watched Rin sit beside Sasuke, clearly the spot furthest from him. Her head was turned toward Tazuna as the bridge builder spoke of the village's hero, Inari's Oto-san. She then turned to Naruto in disbelief as he stood. "I'm going to prove that in this world heroes do exist." She stood up after he was gone. "Excuse me, thank you for the meal." She bowed her head to Tsunami. The woman smiled. "Thank you for helping." Rin nodded before exiting the room. "Excuse me too, thanks, the meal was delicious." Kakashi stumbled over his words as he rushed out of the room after the Snake Sannin's daughter. Rin sensed him coming though and slammed the door to their roomshed, holding it closed with her body. Kakashi tried to open it only to realize she was blocking it. "Rin, open the door." She didn't reply. He tugged on the door again. "Rin, open up," he ordered. "Why should I when I can't trust you to stay away from me?" she challenged. Kakashi sighed, leaning his head against the door. In all honesty, he didn't want to stay away from her. He liked the feel of her lips against his. But he knew that right now it was best that he kept his distance. "I promise I will." The Ravenette scoffed on the other side of the door. "If it don't, I give you full permission to hit me," he offered, though his jaw still stung from where she slapped him. The door slowly slid open and there before him stood Orochimaru's daughter. She left him at the door, walking to the corner where her pack was. Kakashi stepped into the room. He made his way to his bed near her and sat down. She pulled her cloak's hood down as she brushed out her hair. Kakashi found himself wanting to run his fingers through the silky strands. "Rin?" She cast him a glance as she brushed her hair out. "I'm sorry about earlier. I shouldn't have done that. It was too soon," he mumbled. The Ravenette paused mid-stroke. "Kakashi, I don't know if that was just your body reacting to the atmosphere or if it was your way of confessing your feelings. But I will tell you now, if it's the later, those same feelings will not be returned to you from me." Kakashi winced at that. That hurt more than getting stabbed with a kunai. "I am only here as a prisoner and possible new citizen of Konohagakure, I am nothing more. I expect you to control your malaises as I will not be there for you to go to." The Jounin slowly nodded. He knew she was serious, for she had not cursed once in any of those statements. "Now, if you need me, I will be out training with Naruto-kun and Sasuke." She placed down the brush, pulled her hood back up, then stood and left the room. Kakashi had half a mind to go after her, but decided he'd wait and get more advice from Sakura. Rin left the house and went to the forest. She followed Naruto and Asuke's chakra signatures to figure out where they were. "Rin-sensei, look," Naruto yelled as he went andering up the tree. The Ravenette sighed as she watched until he sliced the tree, jumping back down. She clapped her hands together. "Well done, Naruto-kun, perhaps you'll make it to the top?" she said. The boy's eyes lit up and he nodded, looking determined. Rin looked to the Uchiha. He had also just landed on the ground. He glanced at her before going back to his training. She smirked and walked up next to him. "It's easier if you focus chakra to your feet," she said. The boy sent her a glare as she followed him up the tree, but instead of jumping back to the ground she stayed where she stood. Sasuke's gaze only hardened as she walked back down. She sent him a smile filled with pure hatred before leaving them. True, they were genin, so it was only natural they have a little trouble, but she wondered how they would do on water. She walked further into the forest away from the boys. Rin did the hand signs for a water clone. 3 appeared and chagrined. She quickly braided her hair so it wouldn't get in the way. She pulled up her hood, taking out 2 kunai, 1 for each hand. Before she leapt forward, dodging and striking as her clones moved to attack her. Her kunais clashed every other second as she blocked and attacked. Unknown to the training Ravenette, the silver-haired man had chosen to follow her from a distance and watch. Rin wasn't using her eyes, so she didn't realize his presence. He wanted to know why she was training. Was she going to help them when Zabuza came again? Rin's clones soon turned to puddles as she relaxed. He saw her disome hand signs and was shocked to see her make a clone turn into the silver-haired Jounin. Rin attacked the Kakashi with a new form of energy. Hatred came off of her in waves as she and the clones spared. Rin was going forth kill each time. The real Hitaki gulped as he left her to train. He didn't want to get caught seeing her kill a clone that had transformed into him. That's all for now. If you enjoy, then please like, share and do comments.